Look at your hands. Really look at them. Every line, every scar, every pulse of blood beneath the skin. You think these hands belong to you. You think the breath in your lungs is your property. You think the person sleeping in the room next to you, the car in your driveway, and the very thoughts in your head are yours to keep. But tonight, I want to tell you a truth that will hurt before it heals. Nothing belongs to you. Not a single thing. And until you realize this, you will never truly be free. Imagine a man standing on the shore of a vast, dark ocean. His name is Elias. Elias spent 40 years building a kingdom of glass. He worked until his bones ached and his eyes grew dim, all to collect things. He had a house that overlooked the valley. He had a reputation that made men bow. He had a family he called mine. He gripped these things so tightly that his knuckles turned white. He lived in a constant state of quiet terror, a vibration of fear that never left his chest. Why? Because when you own something, you become its slave. You become the guard of a prison you built yourself. You spend your life looking over your shoulder, wondering when the thief will come, when the fire will start, or when the heart will stop beating. One evening, Elias sat by his fireplace, watching the flames. He felt a strange heaviness in his chest, a silence that wasn't peaceful, but heavy. He looked at the gold watch on his wrist, a symbol of his time and his success. Suddenly, the earth began to tremble. It wasn't a roar, it was a whisper of the ground shifting. Within minutes, the glass walls of his kingdom shattered. The fire spread. The things he called mine were swallowed by the shadows and the smoke. He ran outside with nothing but the clothes on his back, standing in the cold mud, watching 40 years of ownership turn into ash. He cried out to the sky. He screamed at the universe for stealing what was his. He felt like a part of his soul had been ripped out. But as he sat there in the dirt, stripped of everything, something miraculous happened. The wind brushed against his face. He felt the cold dampness of the earth beneath his feet. He took a breath. And for the first time in his entire life, he didn't feel the weight of protection. He didn't feel the fear of losing. How can you lose what was never yours to begin with? We walk through this life like travelers who have checked into a hotel room. We move the furniture, we hang our pictures on the wall, and we start to believe we own the building. But the bell rings at dawn, and we must leave. We cannot take the bed, we cannot take the view, we cannot even take the key. This is the ancient wisdom that the world has forgotten. We suffer because we try to grab the water of a flowing river and hold it in our fists. But the harder you squeeze, the faster it disappears through your fingers. Think about the people you love. We use the word my wife, my husband, my child. But they are not yours. They are sovereign souls on their own journey, lent to you by the universe for a brief moment in time. When we try to own people, we stop loving them and start controlling them. We turn love into a contract. But when you realize that they are a gift you get to witness for a short time, the love becomes deeper. It becomes urgent. It becomes pure. You stop arguing over the small things because you realize you are both just guests in the same room, waiting for your names to be called. The clothes you wear will eventually be rags. The body you inhabit will eventually return to the soil. Even your name will one day be a sound that no one remembers to speak. This sounds like a tragedy, doesn't it? It sounds like a reason to give up. But listen closely. It is the exact opposite. It is the ultimate invitation to live. When you accept that nothing belongs to you, the pressure disappears. The anxiety of keeping up vanishes. You no longer have to defend a throne that doesn't exist. You are free to enjoy the coffee in your cup without worrying about the cup breaking. You are free to love someone fully without the suffocating fear of them leaving, because you know that their presence was always a temporary miracle. We are all carrying heavy bags filled with mine. We carry the weight of our past achievements, the weight of our titles, the weight of our expectations. We are exhausted. We are tired of guarding the gates. Drop the bags, just for a moment. Drop them. Look around you. The trees don't own the sunlight, yet they soak it in. The birds don't own the sky, yet they fly through it. The stars don't own the night, yet they shine with a brilliance that guided our ancestors home. The ancient masters used to say that the secret to a happy life is to own everything, but possess nothing. Use the world, taste the fruit, sleep in the bed, laugh with the friends, but never for 1 second believe that you can keep them. The moment you try to lock the door, the joy leaves through the window. Elias, standing in the ruins of his home, finally understood. He looked at his hands again. They were empty, covered in soot and dirt, but they were light. He realized that the only thing he truly had was the present moment, this thin, fragile slice of time between what was and what will be. And that moment was enough. It was more than enough. It was everything. Stop fighting the tide. Stop trying to brand the world with your name. You are not a landlord. You are a witness. You are a passenger on a beautiful, temporary journey. The house, the money, the status, they are just props on a stage. When the play is over, the king and the beggar both go into the same box. So, walk through the world with open palms. Do not clench your fists. When something comes into your life, say thank you. When it leaves, say goodbye. Do not let your heart be broken by the inevitable rhythm of life and death. You were born with nothing, and you will leave with nothing. But in between, you have the chance to experience everything. The fear you feel right now, that's just the ego trying to hold on to a shadow. Let it go. Breathe out the need to own. Breathe in the reality of being. You are not the things you have. You are not even the body you see in the mirror. You are the awareness that experiences it all. Tonight, when you go to sleep, realize that your bed is alone. Your breath is alone. Your life is alone. And in that realization, you will find a peace that no thief can steal and no fire can burn. You are finally, truly, dangerously free. Stay in that silence for a moment. Feel the space where the weight used to be. Most people spend their entire lives trying to build a fortress out of sand, screaming at the tide when it eventually comes to claim the shore. They die exhausted, angry, and confused. But you are learning to swim. Think of the things that kept you up last night. The debt that feels like a chain around your neck. The reputation you're terrified of tarnishing. The relationship that feels like it's slipping through your fingers like dry sand. Ask yourself, if I am just a visitor here, why am I acting like the owner of the world? When you stop trying to manage the universe begins to provide exactly what you need. Not what you want, not what your ego demands, but what your soul requires to grow. The ancients understood that suffering isn't caused by loss. It is caused by the idea of loss. You cannot lose what you never possessed. If a bird lands on your windowsill and sings for a minute before flying away, do you mourn its departure as a personal robbery? No, you are grateful it sang at all. You must learn to look at your bank account, your career, and even your own health with that same detached gratitude. It is all just a bird on the windowsill. It is a temporary melody, and its beauty lies precisely in the fact that it cannot stay. We are so afraid of being nothing. We want to be someone. We want titles, accolades, and a legacy that outlives us. But look at the mountains. They don't have names for themselves. Look at the stars. They don't care if you know their distance or their heat. They simply are. When you become nothing, you become everything. When you have nothing to protect, you have the entire world as your playground. You can walk into the fire of life because you know that what is real within you cannot be burned. Imagine the freedom of waking up tomorrow and realizing that you don't have to carry the person you were yesterday. That version of you, the one with the mistakes, the grudges, and the heavy pride, that person doesn't belong to you either. You are allowed to leave them behind. You are allowed to walk out of the prison cell because the door was never actually locked. You were just leaning against it, terrified of what was on the other side. On the other side is reality, and reality is breathtakingly simple. It is the sound of your own heartbeat, a rhythm you didn't start and a rhythm you cannot stop. It is the light hitting the dust motes in the air.
It is the ability to feel pain and joy in equal measure, knowing that both are just weather passing through the sky of your mind. You are the sky, not the clouds. The clouds belong to the wind. The sky belongs to no one. As you move forward from this moment, try a new way of walking. When you hold your child, think to yourself, I am blessed to witness this soul today. When you earn $1, think, this is energy passing through my hands to be used. When you feel a heartbreak, think, this is the price of being alive, and the price is worth it. There is a profound, gritty strength in surrender. It is not the surrender of the weak. It is the surrender of the warrior who realizes that the war was a hallucination. You don't have to fight for your place in the world because you are already part of the fabric. You don't have to hoard your treasures because the ultimate treasure is the capacity to experience the now without wanting it to be different. So, let the world take what